Good morning, good morning, good morning. Boy, live from Las Vegas. This becomes a bigger challenge each year, but it seems to be paying off. Good show so far, and we just started. Welcome, Jeremy.
Good morning, Gary.
Ryan.
Good morning, everyone.
He's still alive over there. Our special guest today for Live from Murtec. You see the guys, sorry, I'm a little out of order this morning. Jumped through us, but special guest, Greg Kingen, our friend from Restaurant Magic. Welcome, Greg.
Good morning.
And from Simmzy, Jason Perovich. Welcome.
Good morning.
So, guys, before we jump into this, tell our audience just a little bit, starting with JP, tell us a little bit about your brand, and we'll jump into our roundtable discussion.
Sure. Well, we have Simmzy is one of our concepts. We have multiple concepts in the LA South Bay area, and Simmzy is the brand that's growing. It's more of a kind of a gastro pub with high-end food and 24 beers on tap.
Really good food, really yummy food. That one
great location.
The one down in by your office.
Oh yeah.
Manhattan Beach. Thank you. That one's awesome. Thanks, JP. And Greg, tell us about Data Central and Restaurant Magic.
Yep. Great. Restaurant Magic, we've been around for a long time. We build business intelligence for multi-unit restaurant chains. We help them understand their business a little bit better to make better decisions and to understand how to be more profitable.
Excellent. Thank you. We've been working with Greg over at Restaurant Magic for a number of years now, and it's been a warm relationship. Guys, we're going to jump right in, and just to let the audience know, we're doing a little bit of a different format. This is really going to be a roundtable focused around some very specific questions that hopefully align perfectly with what you guys would be interested in if you were here or if you were thinking about coming. Jeremy and I and the team, we've been coming here for how many years now?
This is the 20th Murtec, and I think it feels like we've been here all 20 years. I know we haven't, but it feels like it sometimes. And
yeah.
Every year we turn around and we're like, oh, wasn't this just a couple weeks ago that we were here last time? And it's a great show for us. Love coming.
It really is. I mean, back to my earlier comments about being in Vegas. I walked in just real quickly, walked into the cocktail reception last night after golf, and you do not stop talking from the moment you walk in until the moment you and your group go to dinner. I have a bunch of shaking hands because it's Old Home Week. You're seeing people that you see every single year at Murtec. You're doing business with them. You're not doing business with them. You wish you were doing business with them. Our dinner last night, 45 guests we had from a whole array of different segments within the industry, and it makes for such a magnetic group. So let's jump into this. Hope you guys love the show today. Let's start with JP. So as you made your plans to head to Las Vegas, what drew you here? What's bringing you out here, and what are you looking for?
Well, for me personally, I want to see what trends. I try to look, 18, 24 months out as far as a vision of where our growth is for our restaurant brand, and I want to see the trends. Also, I wanted to get some information on where EMV and this chip and pin and this whole October date and what that's doing. So I wanted to talk to the people in the industry and get some more information.
Excellent. Okay. And Greg, what are you guys showing new and exciting over at your booth in Restaurant Magic?
We really stepped outside of our box this year. We just completed a guest survey program, and you might be thinking, oh gosh, guest survey, that's not new. But because we have such a great relationship with a number of point-of-sale companies, and because we have that rich transaction detail, we are able to build a survey system where you can ask your customer, how did you like the entree that you actually ate, as opposed to, were we nice, were we friendly, were we clean? And so it could be a real-time survey application asking you real-time questions around the menu items, your LTOs, your promotionals, your seasonals, as well as just some great technology in the questioning. So we're excited to show that this year.
Excellent. And you know what, we're doing something, like I said, a little bit differently. This time I'm going to ask Jeremy, as a representative of Custom Business Solutions, why are you here?
Well, and we were talking about it a little bit before the show, and Gary brought it up. I mean, it is somewhat like Old Home Week, but at the same time, it's great to see customers and have one customer talk to another customer and help them solve business challenges that all we were doing is being a conduit between the two of them. It happens all the time. This show is different than just about any other show that we go to, and part of what draws us back is that it's a very relational show that they give the vendors a lot of time with the customers, because it's very, I guess, small amount of vendors, decent amount of customers, and they have a very captive audience. Not that we're trying to sell anything, we're just trying to help people solve problems. So at the end of the day, that part has been great. People that would never, ever talk to each other, we'd have the opportunity to introduce Jason to somebody that he would probably never get a chance to meet. He sat and listened to people, and we'll talk a little bit later about it, from Cheesecake Factory and these different places, that if you were to call him on the phone during the middle of the week, they would never talk with him. But last night at dinner, he can sit down with them and talk for 30 minutes and talk about what they're doing within their business to help his business.
Yeah, HT's done a dynamite job of keeping or maintaining exclusivity. And so to Jeremy's point, and it's, Greg, as I look at someone we work with regularly, our industry has done a better job of becoming real people. And we're real people at these shows. So these relationships go on for years and years. So that knowledge sharing is paramount. And quite frankly, next time I see Lenore, it is what is making this thing fly. So,
very much so.
Thanks, Jay. Tons of shows out there, JP. Have some that you go to, have some that you're interested in. Why Murtec?
This might be the only show I attend this year. Murtec, I think, gives the best content, information, because you're talking with a lot of other people in the industry, and like Jeremy said, it really is kind of that small, kind of homey feel. It's not. It's very relaxed type setting, but you're getting a lot of good information.
Yeah, you got a room full of technologists. So, Greg, same for you. Why Murtec?
It's interesting. In this show, all my competitors are here. They're in the same room. We're talking to the same people. But it's the exclusivity. It's the access to vendors to be able to talk to vendors, operators to vendors, and operators to operators, like Jeremy was talking about. You'll see people at a table where there's people that have never sat down and spoken about a given topic before. I had breakfast this morning. A couple of operators that were talking about EMV and the challenges and what do they do and how do they do that. And one guy says, oh, we know all about that, and started sharing at that table. And that's what makes Murtec, to me, the best.
Yeah, and it's not as sterile. Like the one thing that Gary mentioned, it's not as sterile. There's not this, you're the vendor, I'm the customer, let me get away from you, I'm not going to let you chase me down. It's, I mean, that's the only adjective that I could come up with is sterile. A lot of trade shows, you're trying to grab people and pull them into your booth to show them what you have. Here it is not anywhere like that, and it's different than any show we ever do, because the customers and the prospective customers are given the time to spend with the exclusive vendors that invest the time and energy to invest in this conference.
Yeah, you're right. If you're a vendor and you're standing in your booth, then you're losing the value of Murtec. You put your card in the booth and go sit and talk to people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is that you can walk up to people and they will stop and talk to you.
Yep.
So I know, JP, you're not going to any other shows this year, but Greg, what other shows could you recommend that the audience could pay, would pay dividends for them?
I mean, it just depends. We do a number of different shows, a number of different slots. I like the RFDC show personally. It's here in Vegas in November because it's all finance people.
Yes.
And even though the premise of that show is concepts looking to expand their footprint and lenders looking to provide money for that, it's still a great show for us because it's the decision makers that are here.
Yeah.
The ratio is not nearly as good, unfortunately, for a vendor like ourselves because there's thousands of participants, and it's just so hard to find someone that you really want to talk to. So the smaller footprint shows like Murtec, to me, are a little bit more exciting in terms of making that personal connection.
Right. I'm the answer for CBS, and Jeremy, you're welcome to add on. For us, too, Murtec for us is about the relationships and continuing those lengthy business relationships that pay dividends for everybody in our sphere of influence. The other one, RFDC, what I like, or what I wanted to point out is with this conference, you've got your CIOs, you've got all your IT folks. So to your point with finance conference, you got your finance people. This is a segment within the industry that has a is interested in technology, and so they want to know everything that's going on. And
so just if you guys don't understand what the acronym is, multi-unit restaurant technology is what Murtec stands for.
Right.
Maybe that gives a little bit of context, but it's all technology people for the most part. But it's not a bunch of people geeking out on the latest, gadgets here and there. It's a lot of people really trying to solve business challenges.
Yeah, thank you for saying absolutely, JP. It really is. It is this core group that over the last decade really has not changed drastically. It really invests in the customer and the customer problems that JP and all his directors of IT out there are facing each day. So.
I know we're it probably sounds like we're doing a huge commercial for Murtec, and part of it is that we are. So if you guys are interested in going next year, the show typically happens around the same time in March. It's in Vegas. Reach out to us or reach out to Hospitality Technology. They have a great magazine as well and a great online presence that talks about restaurant technology. They always are pulling stuff together. So if you're interested in this type of content, subscribe to their magazine. Reach out to us. We'll get you guys connected so you guys can get in and get into the show next year.
Absolutely. And then lastly, as we wrap up this topic, is the value of networking, JP. You had mentioned it, or Jeremy had mentioned a conversation with a player within the industry. Or the other one that you brought up is you're sitting there talking to somebody and they're in the same neighborhood, the same area with the same problem.
Yeah, it's been great. So I've been in the industry for just over 11 years and have built some great relationships and continue with those. So just sitting at dinner last night and talking with a number of different technology directors or CIOs that I normally wouldn't be able to talk to, on a daily basis, and just picking their brain on what they see in the industry, what are they doing to solve specific business problems, and it's been great. It's been unbelievable.
Excellent. It's funny because as I think of, the description of a relaxed atmosphere, the way we're even dressed is in alignment with that this segment. It's much more casual, much warmer people. But Greg, to the networking point, I mean, you and I know well about this.
Oh yeah, it's funny. We spend a lot of money in marketing and trade shows. This is the one check I don't mind writing, because I know that whatever I pay to be here, I'm going to get the value out of that, just in terms of networking with my partners, talking to other vendors that I maybe have never worked with before, just find out what they do, and then just the opportunity to network with the operators. These are real people experiencing the real problems in their business. They wake up in the morning, they've got challenges that they face. We don't really know what those are in some cases. We can presume that we know what they are. And in our materials, as we approach them, we could say, we know what your challenges are, but it's here where we really find out what their challenges are. And it allows us then to truly see if we can respond to that.
Right. Yeah, that diagnosis.
Yep.
So, I wanted to throw one more thing out there, not necessarily about the value of networking, but a little bit, it kind of ties into all of what we've been talking about. Jason, I know you and I talked last night at dinner. Murtec and this group, Hospitality Technology, added a segment onto the show on the golf day, the very first day, where it's an operator-only conference. Greg, Gary, myself, Ryan, none of us are allowed to go to it, but you obviously were there. Where did you find value out of that, and what was, I guess if we were to have to give kudos to them for doing that, what would you say that you found from those educational sessions? I think there was only two or three maybe, that you were able to spend a couple hours kind of listening to what's going on?
Yeah, I believe there was two. If I didn't get anything out of the rest of this show, that would have been worth it in that hour and a half or 2 hours that I spent in that session. I learned more about the, EMV, chip and pin, and end-to-end, and all of that stuff in that small time frame that I have over the last 2 months. And it's great because there was a room full of 40 operators, director of IT, CIOs, whoever it is, and it was a big round table, and it was great. It was
wonderful,
unbelievable.
Yeah. So I would recommend for those operators that are considering coming,
look at the Wednesday session. Look at the Wednesday session, or I'm sorry, it's not Wednesday today, it's Wednesday, Tuesday session. They moved the show back. They moved the show back. It used to be on Wednesday. So look at the Tuesday session.
I believe it's the Murtec University.
Yeah,
Murtec University.
Yeah, it's Murtec University. They generally do 2 workshops. They squeeze it into the afternoon, while a portion of the group that arrives here in Las Vegas goes out and golfs, and a portion, and it's growing each year. We were talking about this. A portion of the group are now coming focused on Murtec University and nailing down some of that info.
Not even worrying about the golf.
The show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been wild to see it grow, and congratulations to
the team for doing it. Yeah,
for pulling this together. So let's jump into what keeps you up at night. Greg just alluded to it just a moment ago. What's keeping you up at night when you're coming to the show? You've got things in your mind that you're going to capture or get information on. What's making you stay up?
Security is my number one, and it's a tough one because it's not something that you can hold in your hand. It's not a tangible item, but it's something that I'm constantly thinking about. What can I do to stay ahead and make things more secure? If we implement new systems or new softwares that the other executives want to implement, I need to make sure that I dot all my I's and cross my T's regarding firewalls and software and who's getting in and all of that good stuff. So those are the things that I really, really probably keep me up at night.
Okay. And Greg, with Restaurant Magic?
What keeps me up at night? For us, it's evolving with the marketplace. Are we really in tune with what the market's interested in? EMV, for me, as a business intelligence back office, it doesn't mean anything to me. But I know it's important to my vendor or to my customers. So how do I sympathize with what they're going through, realizing there's nothing I can do to address that? But making sure that I'm paying enough attention to hear the things that are important to them.
Right. Or even maybe being able to connect them up with another customer that's already solved the problem.
Exactly, Jeremy. That's an excellent point. You're right. If I do know someone that solved it, then finding JP a guy to talk to is an excellent idea.
Yeah. There's really a symbiotic relationship amongst the folks in that room. Jeremy, what's keeping you up at night?
Probably just the ever-changing technology landscape. I mean, we've said it in other webinars. I think that the technology in restaurants is changing more rapidly than I've ever seen it in the 17 years that I've been doing this, 18 years I've been doing this. So I've been doing this industry for a long time. And the pace of change has increased with the advent of tablets and iPads and EMV and all these other regulations. I mean, Greg is shaking his head, JP shaking. I mean, the changing landscape, and it's constantly changing. So we have to be here to learn what others are doing. Yes. We have to be here to learn what our competitors are doing to make sure that we're on that forefront. So for me, we've always been a thought leader. I want to think of ourselves as a thought leader, and so we want to be out in the front on the cutting edge to understand these things so that we can consult with our customers to help them solve their business challenges.
Yeah. And for me to answer the same question of what keeps me up at night is this wave that's building with mobility, omni-channel ordering, and security.
Yeah.
How is the consumer going to order faster, easier, securely? And then to the rest of to me, that just speaks to a portion of the segments. The other one would be table service. How am I going to change the experience, and how is technology going to change and participate in the personality of my business that creates an experience?
Yep, agreed. Because the segments some segments are having a hard time. And so they're looking to technologists to help them try and solve those problems.
There's a reason fast casual is fast casual and growing as rapidly as it is. Having said that, QSR wasn't going to lay down on the ground and let it just happen.
And neither was casual dining.
Neither is casual, exactly. So it's pretty exciting. As we talk about how rapidly things change, it really is the kinetic energy that's building within the technology community in hospitality. It's quite phenomenal to deal with. What questions do you find yourself asking that you don't have a good answer for yet?
And kind of you just touched on it. It's the how are customers going to be able to order faster, more efficiently, but still stay secure? Where is this EMV going? What are the
security standards going to be, you know, a year from now? What are the card brands going to be pushing down, you know, 2 years from now? Where is this going as far as payments and mobile payments? So those are the things that I am constantly trying to stay on top of, but really those are the questions that I don't have yet.
No.
You know, answer. You're looking, and you're finding out. I mean, you're finding some things, and you're finding some go-forward paths. It's just you're not finding the silver bullet that you're hoping for.
Yes, absolutely.
And Greg, what do you find?
You know, it's interesting when you look at the ecosystem of technology providers in this space. You know, the thing that I can't really get any clarity on right now. It kind of goes to what JP was talking about. Is you don't know who's going to emerge out of that sort of, you know, jello mess of technology. Who's going to come up with the solution that really is what the market's looking for? You know, as we provide solutions, you know, the one thing that multi-units to me still struggle with is the one thing that the mom and pops have, which is knowing their customer. They don't know who their customers are. They desperately want to know more about them. That's why you've got ways to interact with them and touch them, and ways to track information about them and to learn who they are. And all this social media is all around getting the pulse of who is my customer, so I can make sure I'm providing the best solution for that. And you know, I don't see any clear-cut victors coming out of that space yet. So to me, that's where the challenge lies. How do we stay in that? How do we play in that? And how do we align ourselves with the eventual winners of that?
Yeah. No, it's funny because I think of what social media in my mind has done to the restaurant industry is it's forced restaurants to A, have a clean restaurant, B, give good service, and C, be efficient and effective at what they do. To your earlier point of the product that you guys are releasing with the survey capability, I love the fact that instantly the consumer gets to tell me in what area I should go eat and stamp of approval. And I love that change within the industry. Jeremy, what do you find yourself asking that you haven't found a good answer for?
And I think, not to sound like a broken record, but I think that the EMV anomaly is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
The card brands have put out this edict of October 2015, but a lot of the processors aren't really ready to take on that burden that is coming. And so it's a question that we get asked every day, and we're trying to give our audience as much information as we have about it, and we get to learn new stuff every day. Just connected with some Canadian customers that have had EMV for years, and I'm talking with them about what did they do and what does it look like for Canada, because you know that's where we've got to be.
Yeah.
At the same time, that's probably the thing that I find the most challenging. Then secondarily, what are people going to do? Because there's always an inverse relationship, in my opinion, between security and ease of use.
Right.
And there's a lot of consumers that have a computer in their pocket in the form of a phone. They have a tablet in their laptop bag, whether it's Android or iOS, I don't really care. But they have all of this mobility, and they say, how does that translate to the restaurants? But then to JP's point, what keeps them up at night is security. So how do I securely do this, but give the operators the ease of use? And so that inverse relationship puts a huge burden on us as a business provider and on the IT folks that we work with to be able to deliver solutions quickly, easily, and effectively to the end user.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And then the future. What's coming next? JP, what's around the corner for you?
We've got a new concept that will be opening, mid-May. It's called the Arthur J. It's a high-end steakhouse by Chef Dave LeFevre.
Excellent.
And then new Simmzy's is coming on board around the same time in Venice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. That's going to be fun trying to open up 2 restaurants at one time.
Yes,
it is. It really is.
I think you've done it. Yeah. And Greg? Excuse me.
No problem. So we're just rolling out this guest survey. I think we'll probably, do some more work around that. Obviously, we'll be looking to hear back from our customers about how they want us to continue to evolve that product. As Jeremy said earlier, we consider ourselves thought innovators and thought leaders as well in this space. So we're just going to be collecting over the next few months ideas of what do we build next. We feel like we've got a great platform. We've established a great track record over the last 25 years of providing solutions. But we know that we can't be stagnant. We've got to continue to grow and evolve. So we're looking for that next big thing that we build.
Okay. And just to let everybody know, I know we're running up late. We do our best to keep it 30 to 45 minutes. We'll get into the Q&A in a second here. But Jeremy, how about you?
I think, really it's just kind of looking at all of those different things I was just talking about. It's looking at those different new technology trends, whether it's EMV or tablets at the table, wireless security, guest interaction, loyalty. These things get asked all the time. And so I think that's where we're constantly looking, evaluating the different tools that are out there. What are the strategic partnerships like we have with Restaurant Magic so that we can get the best of breed and not have to create it all ourselves, versus where it's not, doing it ourselves. You guys know us as a technology provider. Sometimes it's build it, sometimes it's partner. And so I think we've done a decent job at providing you guys with content via the webinars and via our blog, but also providing solutions that, if you choose to partner with us, that we can deliver restaurant solutions that are going to make the brands better.
You guys are the restaurant technology guys.
Well, there's always that.
I love it. I know we're bumping up against time, so I do want to segue over to the Q&A real quick. And if you guys don't mind, we'll do the Q&A and then jump back into a handful of questions. It'll only take another 10 minutes. I just wanted to FYI to the audience. But for those that got to jump off, let me get to the questions,
sure.
And then we'll jump back into a handful, because I think it's valuable content.
Okay. Yeah, and so if you guys have questions, you can put, over on the right-hand side, there's a little question panel. If there's nothing, we'll kind of start working on some of the other questions that we had for the guests. And so as those things are coming in, Ryan will start to assimilate them and then ask them of us.
And you know what, I'm going to keep on going as that stuff comes in. Hey, JP, your position, you're surveying and considering evaluating new technology. How do you keep up with the new releases and the news and the bombardment that you're having?
Well, I rely heavily on my trusted vendor partners like you guys, shows like this, and then my colleagues and friends in the industry as well.
You've got to listen to the restaurant technology guys. I'll tell you all about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But those are my three main kind of paths of where I get my information from.
Cool. And Greg, what do you see, or what are you looking for to take away from this show this year?
For me, I'm interested to see, what my competitors are doing a little bit. That's always good for me to understand. How are they keeping up? It's interesting, on my website, I can always see when my competitors come and get on my website, and I can see the pages they look at, and they're always looking for, what am I doing? And so if I was in the burger business, I could walk across the street and get my competitor's burger and take it apart and figure out what he used and figure out how to make a better burger. So for this show, for me, a little bit of it, finding out what my competitor's doing to make a better burger, and then making sure that I'm in a leadership position there.
Right, actually, it puts you on the front of the trend.
Absolutely.
Or at least situated right in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you. And Jeremy, any new trends or technologies that you're looking forward to?
So something else that this team did a couple of years ago, because it is a very exclusive event, I think it's 44 vendors or somewhere around that number that are in the main showroom. They started a secondary room of new vendors that are, and that's still a 2-year wait list to get into that room. So it still remains relatively exclusive. I think there's only like 10 or 12 vendors in that room. But my expectation is to go in there and kind of see who the new and young and upcoming people are. I kind of know for the most part what some of our competitors are doing in the point of sale space or the recipe distribution space or some of those things. We have some of our partners, and I like meeting with them. But I really want to go see what's new and innovative out there. You guys have heard us talk with MyCheck. They're here for the first time this year. And they're, because of the EMV and the payment space, they're I think a thought leader in the mobile payment space that I think is somebody worth considering. And so I'm going to go in and talk with them a little bit. We already partner with them. I want to spend some time figuring out where they're at, where they're going.
Yeah.
So my plan after the webinar today actually is we've got a little bit of networking to go do, and then I'm going to go walk that other show floor and see what else is there. Who's there that I don't know that's coming? Because we can't be everywhere at all times. Part of why we come to these things is so that everybody's in the same place. But I want to go walk that show floor and say, who's new and up and coming? Do we need to partner with these guys? Is this a solution our customers would want to put into their restaurant? So that's my plan.
Yeah, I'm curious about, just to add on to what Jeremy said, I'm curious about where wireless networking is going. I think that there's this misnomer that wireless connectivity is this simple, because I have it on my phone, and why can't I can do it at my house, and well, we're figuring out that you add bodies into a restaurant or into a room, and the water that is in their body, we're made up of 65–70% of our body is water. It messes with internet connectivity or Wi-Fi. I want to see where that's going. So, well, you know what? We don't have any other questions. We want to thank our guests here, Jason and Greg.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you guys helping us out this morning.
Is there anything else you guys would want to share with the audience this morning? Or you guys? No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Cool.
You guys have anything else for me? No, I think we're great.
I'd like to encourage anybody that's listening to this to be sure and come to the show. When I think about where I can spend my money and the types of shows I can participate in, this is a place where operators need to come and to be a part of the community of other operators that are sharing information. Yeah. This is the place they need to be.
Yeah. And it's not expensive. I mean, it's not an expensive show. It's not $2,500 to get in or anything like that. And depending upon what you may or may not be willing to share, they may even get you comp passes to be able to get in if you're willing to get up and speak about stuff. So there's some great opportunities that I really would urge you to consider putting into your budget for 2016.
Yeah, thanks, hospitality can help.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's us. That's it for us today. Thank you all for joining us. We will be next with Restaurant Technology Guys is wireless ordering. More money from more places. The end of the month here in March. So wishing you guys all a great day, and we'll talk to you at the next show. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.